In this video and bonus episode of the Preaching Donkey podcast, we're going to talk about the three vital things that every preacher, every church leader needs to grow. As I've worked with and coached hundreds of pastors over the years here at Preaching Donkey and in my own ministry as a pastor, what I've found is that preaching and leadership is dynamic work. It's tough. It is not for the faint of heart. New challenges are always surfacing. The joys of ministry tend to be elating. The lows of ministry tend to be devastating because they cut right to the heart of who we are as people. It's very difficult to separate who you are as a pastor from your identity as a person. And so we're going to talk about, in the midst of that tough work that's very dynamic, how do we grow? And I think there are three things that are incredibly vital to have in an ongoing way. The problem is many pastors rely merely on the training they got from seminary. If they went, I was fortunate enough to go to seminary and get my degree. I know a lot of pastors who haven't and a lot of pastors who have. And no matter whether you went to seminary or not, it still remains that most of us got some training, got some mentorship, went to Bible college, went to seminary, and then were thrust into the throes of ministry and really just kind of hope this works out, with a Bible and a prayer, we're on our way. And that's fine, except seminary and Bible college, and a lot of times whatever training we got years ago, just isn't adequate to handle the day-to-day of ministry. And this is why so many pastors are burned out. So many pastors feel isolated. So many pastors feel as if they don't know what to do about this situation, and yet they don't have anyone around them that truly understands what they're going through, how difficult it is. And you may be in this position where the people that you have around you are also in your church, right? So you have to minister to them and be their pastor, and that's your role, and you're glad to do that. It's your calling, but you can't ever really show them that you're a human being, or at least you don't feel like you can. And maybe when you do, you get treated like, oh, well, I didn't realize you were a person. And that kind of bothers me because you're supposed to be Superman. So every situation is different. But the point is, all of us feel this pressure and have this tendency to need that community of people around us so that we don't feel isolated, because we need to keep growing, because we need to keep being able to handle these situations. And yet, we can be very frustrated, and all we have to go back on is a collection of books on our shelves and what we remember from our training. So with that, I think that there is a way to remedy this situation, and it's the three vital things that every pastor needs. And that is, number one, practical ongoing training. Number two, personalized coaching. And number three, a community of like-minded pastors supporting them and around them. Now let's go through each one of these really briefly. Number one, practical ongoing training. Pastors need fresh teaching, fresh training that is happening in an ongoing way so that they're able to continue to adjust to a changing ministry landscape. The message at its root, the gospel, does not change, but our methods change through the years as culture change, as society changes, as the ministry landscape changes, as people change. I mean, we saw in 2020 a massive change that none of us saw coming with a global pandemic, and that changed many methods. The message didn't change at all, but the methods, how we do church, changed. It changed by necessity. And that change ended up kind of resetting how many of us think about online ministry, for one example. So practical ongoing training is very vital. Also, personalized coaching. How do we navigate through specific situations where we need to know, what do I do about this particular situation in my church? How do I plan for this sermon series? How do I handle this teaching issue that has come up in my church where I need to correct some bad theology that's floating around? That kind of coaching, being able to ask questions and find answers from people who understand you, who get where you are, who've been there, who are there, is vital. And then finally, a community of like-minded pastors. When you're discouraged, when you need someone to kind of understand where you are, when you need a little bit of guidance, a little bit of wisdom, it's really helpful to have people around you who get who you are, where you've been, what you're doing, and can speak wisdom and life into your life. And so what I would say is, if you don't have practical ongoing training, personalized coaching in a community of like-minded pastors, it's not that you are going to be a bad pastor. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that if you got those things, you would find that the way that you minister and your overall health as a pastor and development as a preacher would begin to and continue to grow. And this is why I'm so excited that this week we are launching the Advanced Coaching Community. I've partnered up with my good friend Brandon Kelly over at Rookie Preacher. He's the author of Preaching Sticky Sermons and the creator of Sticky Sermons Academy. And together, he and I are leading this community that has all three of these aspects: practical ongoing training, personalized coaching through live coaching calls every month, and a built-in community of people who get you, who understand you because they are you. They're in the trenches with you. So if you go to preachingdonkey.com/advanced, preachingdonkey.com/advanced, you can join this week only. And by the way, this is our founders launch. Okay, so if you get in right now, you'll get the exact same rate for life. For as long as you're a member, you'll get that rate. And it's the least expensive it will ever be. We really wanted this to be as accessible as possible. It's way, way less than if we were doing one-on-one coaching, which both of us do. But this is designed to give you practical, ongoing training through a fresh, in-depth masterclass every month, personalized coaching through a live coaching call every month, and then ongoing community with like-minded pastors in the community area where you can ask questions, you can celebrate your wins, and you can support other people and get the support that you need as well. So I want you to look into it because it might just be for you. And the link is in the description if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or somewhere else, it's in the show notes. But just go to preachingdonkey.com/advanced, ADVANCED, advanced, and you can check it out there. Can't wait to see you jump into the community. Let me know, email me, or put a comment below if you have any questions. It closes on Friday at 11:59 p.m. Pacific. So be sure to jump in, at least check out the details, because you're going to want to see if this is for you. This is the time to jump in. So preachingdonkey.com/advanced. I'll see you in the community, and we'll be back on Thursday with a full episode of the Preaching Donkey podcast.